The selfies with Jen.
All right, what are people telling us that are the big stories trending on BT today?
Well, right now we're having that conversation around beer and potentially more alcohol, who knows, in grocery stores, whether that will happen. We believe there may be an announcement that will happen today.
Is it a parent's worst nightmare to think that your underage child may perhaps have easier access? Or do you feel like if they want to get their hands on it, they're going to find out how to do it anyway?
Well, they do it now.
They do it now anyways,
right?
And that's what, I mean, some people are saying here, this is one that Doug had sent out on Twitter. I'll be shocked if a beer is ever sold in Ontario at a grocery store. Never gonna happen.
You know what, though? I would have said to you 20, 30 years ago, I'll be shocked if a liquor store ever, you know, we had to go to the liquor store, you had to go to the counter and order it. You were never allowed to see the bottles. It was never open on a Sunday. Usually it would close like at 3 in the afternoon. They had bank hours, and I would have said, we'll never see a liquor store opened on a Sunday.
There was a Metro in Woodbridge on Rutherford that had a little wine. Again, limited hours, like a wine rack type.
Well, the wine rack, it's all about distance, right? I believe, like when you're really out far into the middle of nowhere, if you're so many kilometers away from an LCBO or a beer store.
No, the wine rack stores are open all over the place, and all grocery stores. It's been a fairly good experiment. I think it's been an experiment, but they're a compartmentalized, and they can only sell wine, and that's it. In fact, I think there's one right here as well.
There is,
But they're open. Usually, they're open later than the LCBO.
Yeah, but there's a convenience store out in Grafton that we go to when we head out there, and it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, and it's open very limited hours, and they have a whole separate section where they do serve beer or sell beer and beer, wine, hard liquor. So
in the smaller communities, I know Novar, which is sort of up between north of Huntsville, is they have a little cubbyhole of an LCBO. It's still under the auspices of the LCBO though. All right, what else are we talking about?
So I mean, other people are also saying finally it's about time. So we'll see about that. Also, transit. You started a transit debate this morning. We got quite a few tweets about that as well. Is this transit bus issue a future scope of Uber versus taxi? # transit politics.
It's not the same because it's not a private startup company. My argument was that we need one transit company for all of Southern Ontario. I'm not just talking GTA. I'm talking about GTHA. I'm talking about Central Ontario.
Amalgamate the system into one.
British Columbia, although they have a much smaller population, they do it right. BC Transit is whether you're in Vancouver, whether you're in New Westminster, whether you're in Squamish, and therefore they can adjust transit accordingly. I always compare it to the Toronto Conservation Authority. Toronto Conservation Authority has control or monitors the watersheds that lead into the Don and the Humber rivers. They don't stop at Steeles.
They
go to the headwaters of the Don, the headwaters of
that's just the way it is, right?
And they because by the time it gets into Toronto, they have an impact on Toronto. So what we need is we need transit to do the same thing. We need it to go from Hamilton, Stony Creek, around to Kitchener, around past Barrie, past Peterborough, in that big area. It's got to be one transit company. It should be Go Transit. Get rid of the TTC.
Uniform company, interconnected.
Zone fares. These are simple solutions that would not be costing all that much.
So there's an interesting debate between whether we amalgamate the system or whether we have individual systems, because other people are saying that the TTC just can't handle having the contract for all the cities.
It shouldn't be the TTC. It should be Go Transit. And that should be, they should take over the TTC. They should take over York Transit, Viva Transit, Zoom Transit, Brampton Transit, Mississauga Transit, My Way.
All of them.
All of them. There are 12 different transit agencies that serve the GTA. 12 different transit brands. 12 different ones. Imagine if there was one.
Way too fragmented.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back,
talking about the return of one of the most anticipated shows this fall. It's an Empire State of Mind.
Music is what Empire is about.
Lucius hurts people all the time, and he gets away with it.
I'm here to get what's mine.
Tear it down.
Empire should be mine, and you know it.
I started this.
Breakfast television is brought to you by Leon's. For furniture, mattresses, appliances, and TVs, you'll find your style at Leon's or leons.ca.